You're listening to the All American Actors Podcast, episode 25. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you why Clubhouse is the best way to practice your American accent. That's coming up next. Ready to go behind the scenes and learn what it really takes to build a sustainable career as a working actor in the U.S. film and TV industry? Join me, Katherine Beck, your all-American accent coach, as I give you the insight and inspiration to take action on your career. Learn my best tips and tricks to performing with an American accent, and hear from working actors and other industry professionals to give you a comprehensive overview of this biz we call showbiz. This is the All-American Actors Podcast. Before we get started in today's episode, I want to give a huge shout out to Turtle Singer, who says, Katherine is an incredible coach with an enormous arsenal of knowledge, both in accent training and its application to audition material. This podcast will be your one-stop shop to perfect your American accent and start booking jobs. Wow, thank you so much for that incredible review. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to stop. You have to pause and reflect. Think about all those years of your acting training, voiceover classes, improv classes, all those years of auditioning. And, sometimes as actors, we think, is it worth it? All that time and money, the energy. But you know what? It is. It is when you love what you do, and it definitely pays off when you can pay it forward. Pay it forward to other actors that are just starting out or still relatively new on their journey to help share my experiences with others, to help guide you, give you support, give you inspiration, and be able to share my knowledge, my thoughts, my journey with other actors to help support and guide you. So thank you so much. I wish I had your name on this review to give you a proper shout out, but regardless, it really warms my heart to hear your kind words. So a very big thank you from me. And if you want to be featured as our star listener of the week, all you have to do is just leave us a 5-star review. And before you press submit, do me a favor, take a screenshot of your review so I can give you a big shout out right here on the show. So if you like this episode, leave us a 5-star review. So I have been in Sydney for 16 years now, and this past year is the first time in a long, long time where I have felt incredibly homesick. Why? Well, I couldn't just get on a plane and go back for a visit. And it's the idea of not being able to do that left me feeling incredibly homesick, missing my friends and family, and feeling that distance of just how far away I am from the U.S. And yes, while Zoom and Facebook and Instagram and all the things help to keep the connection going, I still miss visiting the U.S., and all the wonderful things I get to experience, get to see, the foods that I miss, the places that I miss, the people that I miss, seeing them in person. I so badly wanted to go back because I wasn't allowed to go back, so I wanted it that much more. But then something really interesting happened in January where I started to feel a little bit less homesick. I was introduced to something called Clubhouse. Now, some of you may be familiar with it or starting to get familiar with it. It's the new app. As the time of this podcast is airing, if you're listening to it live, this whole Clubhouse thing is very new, but it's very exciting, and it helped me feel a little bit closer to my old home. So Clubhouse, what is this Clubhouse? Well, for those that aren't familiar, Clubhouse is an app, and it's audio only. There's no video. And when you join, all you need to do is set up your profile, let Clubhouse know your interests, and that's going to target the type of rooms that you're recommended to get you going. So as you start, you're going to get recommended rooms based on your interests. And then as you start to follow other people in Clubhouse, you'll start to hear about different events that are coming up that you can go ahead and listen to. You can join the rooms. And that's sort of, the beginning steps of Clubhouse. Now, You want to think of it kind of like a house. So there's a long hallway, and as you're looking at the hallway, there's a whole list of different rooms that are just off of the hallway. And these are based on your interests, the subjects that you put in there. So let's say, for example, your interest is film and television and acting, and maybe it's podcasts. Well, you're going to get recommended these types of rooms. You'll see those in your hallways. And all you have to do is click on one of those rooms and bam, you're inside the room. And what you'll see at the very top, you'll see the moderators. So those that are at the very top and they have sort of like a green emoji, it sort of looks like a star and it's green. They're the moderators and they're the ones that are running the room. So you can think of them as like the head speakers and they're setting the topic. And then after that, you'll see all the people that are listening. Now, this is really great because when you're listening, there are often times where you can raise your hand and ask questions so you can participate even more. Now, why this is really great for acting? Well, there are so many different acting rooms in there. And because this is primarily, it started, based in the US and now it's branching out to other countries, you get a lot of US actors, casting directors, agents, managers, producers, all different areas within the industry, setting up rooms, having conversations, Q&As where you can ask questions and get feedback on whatever area, you're curious about learning. So here's where it comes into play for the American accent and why this is such a great way to practice your American accent is because A, you're hearing the accent all the time. So you can pop on this app 24/7 and you can hear the American accent as much as you want. A lot of times I hear my actors say, oh, well, it's so much easier when I'm in the US. I can speak in the accent. It's all around me. It's all I hear. So it's so much easier, I feel like, picking up the accent when I'm over there. Well, guess what? We have now brought the US to you inside of Clubhouse. All you need to do is pop on the app, jump into one of these rooms, and you are instantly teleported into the US. It's all around you. It's all you can hear. Now, the other really incredible thing then is you can practice. So you feel comfortable, maybe a little bit more comfortable when you're in the US practicing your accent. Well, here you go. Jump on board, jump into your American accent, raise your hand, ask a question in your American accent. And it's an excellent opportunity for you to practice, gain confidence, and familiarity speaking freely in the accent. So you can think of this kind of like your conference call with the United States of America. Now, how cool is that? So let's go through some of the clubs that are, really interesting in Clubhouse. Well, you've got CSA, Casting Society of America. These are your casting directors that are creating rooms and setting up Q&As so you can talk to them about the business. You can ask questions about things like your headshots, your resume, about auditioning, the do's, the don'ts. All your questions, you can raise your hand and ask them in one of these rooms. So if you're an actor, make sure you follow this club and you'll get notified anytime they open up a room. You can jump in there and just listen, or you can raise your hand and ask a question. Then there's other great rooms that are, established by agents. They've got a Q&A club. There's a voiceover club. So if you're interested in voiceover or just, want to jump into that room to learn a little bit more about voiceover, this is an excellent club as well. There's a film and television club. There's podcasting clubs. There is a club for just about everything and anything, you name it. And every day, every moment of the day, 24/7, there are interesting conversations happening in Clubhouse. And the perfect opportunity for you to practice your American accent. And if you're nervous and shy, that is okay. Everyone, I think just about everyone is nervous and shy the first time they raise their hand and ask a question on Clubhouse. But it gets easier the more that you ask questions. So if you want to practice in your American accent, just think of a question that you could ask in one of these rooms and practice that question in your American accent so you feel prepared when they ask you to unmute and ask your question. It may feel scary or awkward the first few seconds, but once you ask your question, you're going to feel like $1,000,000. You got it over with. You did it the first time, and you now feel so much better. You feel at ease and confident because you've gone through it the first time. So I guarantee that second time is going to be that much easier. Because here's the thing. To really get over the hurdle of speaking or performing with the American accent with ease and confidence, you need to put yourself out there. It's just a fact. You got to put yourself out there. You got to use your voice. You got to be able to experiment, play, fail, make those mistakes. And then, and only then, will you learn how to succeed, to gain the confidence to speak in this accent, to be vocal, to be heard. And when you get to this level, oh my goodness, does it feel good to know that you've overcome those fears, those insecurities, and those silly little worries. So, if you can get onto Clubhouse, I highly recommend it. And even if you can't, I challenge yourself to speak in the American accent every day. Today, when you're out of the house. Or how about challenge yourself on an Instagram story where you say 1 or 2 sentences in your American accent. And if you do, I want you to tag me in it so I can hear you too. I would love that. So I can be there to cheer you on as well. Go on, I challenge you. And if you're ready for that challenge and to challenge yourself even further in the American accent, then you are going to want to grab my free American accent guide that's going to break down the steps, my step-by-step process to getting you sounding all American. It's yours. It's free. Just head over to katherinebeck.com/accent. And let me know if you love this episode. Take a screenshot of the show, share it on your Instagram story, and tag me in it at Katherine_Beck_. You can find me there. Got any questions or topics you want to hear on the show? By all means, send me a DM and let me know. Now, coming up next week on the show, I will be talking to lifestyle and entertainment television journalist Katherine Eisman, who's going to share with us her amazing journey as a journalist and teach us how to really shine in the interview. So many great tips in this episode. I'm so excited to share it with you. And make sure to share this show with all your actor friends. Let them know what's coming up next week and invite them to tune in with you and learn how to become an all-American actor so you can be the working actor you dream to be. Until then, go practice your American accent, and I'll see you back here next time.